Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. This is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. This time, this is going to be a first. It's the first time we're going to talk about a brand new comic. Brand spanking new. This is Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, #1, Rock and Roll. And this is, of course, Archie Comics from cover date May 2023. Came out just a few weeks ago. And this is the only copy I found. And one of the reasons I do this is because it's Holly Holly G's return to Archie Comics. She's been gone for 20 years, and I guess she had one or two other stories just prior to this, which I haven't found yet. Something in a Valentine's Day issue. But for some reason, most of the comic shops in my area just carry very few or no Archie comics. They stick to primarily Marvel and DC and some of the others. But I wanted to talk a little bit because I really like Holly G's art, and she wrote and drew this lead story. Unfortunately, it's only 5 pages long, so hopefully it will continue in other books. Yeah, and I just wanted to, because I wanted to talk about Holly G. Holly Golightly. Yeah. Her name is Holly Golightly, but she just goes by Holly G. And so she was apparently named after the Audrey Hepburn character from Breakfast at Tiffany's, which I know she's not the only one. When I was looking up for some research, I guess there's a British singer also named Holly Golightly, who is so she comes up primarily when I look and had to put in the artist, so I can get most of the background that I wanted. So let us go visit Betty and Veronica and their new friend Jola Kitt by Holly G. Okay, here we are. This is a great cover of this issue. Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Rock and Roll, Rock Candy. That is a great logo design for the band. That's the name of the band. And here we get to see the new character, Jola Kitt, created by Holly Golightly. And as you saw there, and if you can also see from my shirt design, Sabrina is my favorite Archie character, as I've mentioned before when I did an episode on Sabrina. And Holly did some Sabrina back in in the older days. Oh, it's hard to believe that that's 20, 25 years ago. It was older days, because it's not very long ago, really. And I really like her pencils. I want to show you here. Here, take a quick look here at Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And here is, because I used to get some of the Sabrina books. Here, I'm in my 60s and I still buy Archie comics, right? And this is just as an example of a story by Holly G. back then. And I liked her stuff. I mean, that's just an example, and I see in her newer stuff in this book here is I see some maturation in her art style. That's not to say it's better or anything. It's just everyone's art style changes slightly over the years, and so that's what that is. And I messaged her because from on Facebook. I messaged her with a couple of questions, and she was kind enough to respond. And she told me about an interview she recently had on a podcast called Archie and Me Podcast, and which I had never heard of. So I listened to the podcast and learned some stuff. And of course, now I have a new podcast to listen to, because I didn't know that podcast existed. Now I do. So do you. So go listen to, give it a try. Listen to Archie and Me Podcast. Now, yeah, Rock Candi. Now, Holly Golightly, she's born in '64. So she's about the same age as my wife, but she doesn't look anywhere near that age. I tell you, because I've seen pictures of her. She is a nerd girl. She is a very lovely, very beautiful, and extremely talented young lady with bright pink hair. More of a magenta, I think, maybe. And she is a comic book writer and artist, formerly known as Fauve. That's F-A-U-V-E. She entered comics in the 90s under the name Fauve, working for Carnal Comics, which had biographies on adult film stars. And I remember those comics. I got a few, and I think I still have a few. So I'm going to have to go dig them up, take a look to see if I've got some of her artwork there. I hope so, but I didn't know she worked on there. And she claims, my research indicated that she claims influence from her artistic hero Frank Thorne, who we've talked about here before, and who just passed away about a year and a half or so ago. It was a great long-time artist. He was one of the Good Girl artists, and known for primarily for his work on Red Sonja at Marvel in the 70s, but he did a lot before and a lot after. And Holly's work, it ranged from Nightmare Theater for Chaos Comics, and I don't think I know that title, all the way to Archie. And she is the colorist for her husband Jim Balance book of the Tarot series, which I've seen a lot on Facebook, but I don't know if I've ever actually seen one in the comic shop, as well as the model for Tarot. And she does some pinup modeling for her husband's photography, and they run together. They run Broadsword Comics, which publishes Tarot and some other stuff. and some of her own art books, and she does private commissions. And I guess she said in that interview they started their company either 2000 2001. I can't remember what she had said there. And I love this cover. I think that would make a great poster or t-shirt design. And she is a total nerd girl. She's big into of course she does, I guess, some manga, video games, role-playing games, stuff like that, I guess. And a big Star Wars fan. In fact, from what I saw on Facebook, that she and her husband had a Star Wars wedding, in which her husband Jim Ballant was dressed as Darth Vader, and she was dressed as Slave Leia. Now, you've got to have a lot of confidence in your figure to wear that costume in public, and she is totally justified, because she is such a beautiful young lady. And so let's, can compare that to the wedding that my wife and I had, which was a Klingon wedding. And we were married as Klingons, as opposed to the Star Wars stuff. So we're similar but different, quite a bit different there. Let's take a little look inside. Yeah, here's that cover. I like that logo, and I'm already running longer. I've gabbed too much, longer than I had originally intended to. I bet you here. See the Rock Candy. It's basically Betty and Veronica leaving the Archies and starting a new band called Rock Candy with their new comic book friend Jola, Kitt, and new kind of manager stuff. And here's the boys are feeling kind of rejected. They have a little bit of a spat with the boys in the band, and so they join, and here they are working out the area, doing all the rock and roll stuff, and they look cool. Some nice artwork, and this is only 5 pages long. I'd like to see more. Then but I think you can see here, if you look, you can see some of how her style has matured somewhat. So it is slightly different. I really like the way her style has gone. And then the rest of the book is reprint stories on the musical theme. Josie and the Pussycats from way back when. And I like that. I like Josie and the Pussycats too. And then the Archies. And I think this is before the Archies were on TV, where they had Betty and Veronica in the band, because this is just the boys trying to. And this is neat, 'cause this is Harry Lucy art, and it's so expressive. And he had a different way of drawing the faces of the characters, but physically they're all so expressive. You know, like Harry Lucy art. And then this was Dan DiCarlo doing this another one story of Archie, and nice little story there. And then we get to the back, and we have a page of talking about the character Jola Kitt, and you see this sketch over here, and and you look at here, and she looks really, really based on Joan Jett in the face, and she confirmed that. That's one of the things that I asked her. I messaged her to ask her about that, and she was kind enough to respond then, and talk about the Rock Candy and some really nice and fun reading. And it was good to see some Holly Golightly art again. Holly G. So I hope you could be a Holly G fan as well, because I really like this cover. And so please like, share, subscribe. Leave a comment. Do you like Holly G's stuff? Do you like Betty and Veronica's stuff? Are you an Archie fan? Who is your favorite Archie character? Who is your favorite Archie artist? And all that. Let me know. And we'll leave it there for now. And remember, comics are art.